£3 million down. If I'd been bad at my job, I might have been £6 or £7 million down, and that's how they saw it. As long as I was aiming to those targets and they believed in what I was doing and focusing on it, they said, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. Now, at the end of the year, you may be 5% down rather than 12% up. But if we know that you've actually got to 5% down and you've actually done the damnedest hardest you can to get to that, we'll stand by you. Now, saying that to a sales force will suddenly give people a lot of confidence, think, right, OK, I'm going to go forward. I may take risks that I wouldn't have taken out of recession times. I need to do things to pull in that target. And we'll talk about targets as we go along, and you'll probably gather when I start talking, target, target, target. That's all I'm interested in. That's my job. And anybody who owns a company, that's your job. Achieving whatever targets you set as a business is your job. Everything else is secondary. Absolute fact. Now then, excuse me, I said I'm not used to talking so much. Big companies do plan for recessions. They know they come in roughly 10 to 15 year cycles, a recession will hit. The market overheats, everything gets crazy, and suddenly it stops and it goes to free fall, and then it comes back up again. Now, most companies, most big companies, will actually plan for this. Excuse me. Can you fill in, mate? While I have a...
Right.
Thanks for that, Johnny. They will actually plan for it. It is not a surprise. They have economists in the business. They know when roughly it's coming. This one has been a little bit different because suddenly the banks went into free fall, and instead of going down like that, it suddenly went like that. That's been a surprise, but they know there's one coming. Now, a lot of companies, especially Japan, 50-year business plans. It's a thick document, I'll be honest with you, when you see it. American companies like Unilever, 20-year business plan is the norm. Now, what they actually do is they'll say, right, I'm at point, no flip chart, mate, bad planning. I'm at point there, and I want to be sterling turnover, profit turnover there. And they'll actually plot the graph with an allowance in that it'll go like that, then come back down, then go back up. As long as it's above what it started, they're happy. How they actually overcome those dips, we'll talk a little bit more about. But they'll be very hard, they'll be very cold, they'll be very accountancy-led decisions that they will actually make in a recession. The people in the company are important, but they're not as important as achieving that end result, which is the target. Let's cheer you up, isn't it? No, I'm doing well here. Build them up, Nick, build them up. It's not working. OK, I just want to talk about two very quickly. Woolworths. It's a shame, isn't it, about Woolworths? Shame. A lot of shame. History, the provenance of the brand. But, I mean, I've dealt with Woolworths for... Is anybody here who actually worked for Woolworths before I start insulting them? You know, I've dealt with Woolworths for many, many years. Burdened with too high a debt once it purchased, they never paid it off. They were struggling with the interest payments. It was horrendous. Too many loss-making sites. They never had the guts to turn around and say, right, 150 stores, bin them because the rest are profitable and the business will be profitable. They wouldn't make that decision.
It was everybody stealing the pick and mix.
It was everybody stealing the pick and mix, yeah. Absolutely, of course it is. If you look at what Asda and Tesco are doing, they're really hitting online shopping. They want more and more people. They're getting rid of the £5 delivery charges. They're dragging people in to do it. Of course they are, yeah. What Woolworths did wrong was keep the sites open. Horrendous buying. It was, to be a salesperson selling to Woolworths was one of the best jobs you could ever get. They never negotiated on price. We've got an ex-buyer from Boots here. Woolworths, horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So they got bad stock buying, too many loss-making sites, too high a debt. Also, it's quite interesting what you said then, yeah. What was Woolworths' USP? What's their unique selling point?
Pick and mix.
Ladybirds.
Pick and mix, right.
Wilco's doing now.
Pick and mix, right. Yeah. Very, very good point. Pick and mix was... Confectionery sales in Woolworths is the biggest part of the thing. Problem with Woolies, and this is where it is relevant to your business, they weren't a destination store.
What's one of them?
Right, what's one of them? Thank you for that. You go to it for a product. So you go to Tesco for your shopping, you go to Comet for something electrical, you go to the store to buy something, a particular product, to tell you whatever. So you're telling me you will drive into a town centre, park, pay 50 or a pound, 50 pence or a pound? Yeah, you buy it from Tesco now, you buy it from Asda, you buy it from wherever. You don't go to Woolworths. You buy it from Wilko's. Probably easier parking than somewhere like Wilko's. You know, people don't buy anything. People don't shop for anything. Now, Woolworths, you could go and buy a reel of cotton, you know, a child's PE kit, pick and mix, an odd DVD, but it's not a destination store. You go in, you don't buy anything.
It's a browser.
Yeah, it's a browser shopper, exactly. It's a secondary shop, secondary purchase. Now, the reason for putting that up is within your business, think about it. Don't try to be, you know, all things to all people. What are you good at? What is your key strength? What do you sell, make, whatever? What is it? Don't suddenly do a Woolworths. Because people don't want Woolworths at the moment. You know, they won't. And no disrespect to Boots. Where I at one stage sold to Boots selling baby products, nappies and nappy wipes and things like that. Really interesting that job was. But they're losing market share hand over fist because people were going to Tesco at the weekly shop, getting a big pack into the thing. They didn't want to park, walk to Woolies and carry huge things of nappies with everything else. So as much as they tried with offers, they were losing their market share. So the point of actually talking about Woolies is don't be a destination company, you know, be a destination company, you know. Think about that and think how you actually market your products. Second one, car industry. Very, very quickly touch on this. Yeah, there is only so many car sales out there. Too high a manufacturing capacity, something will give. Nissan's struggling at the moment. That's a busy little camera. Nissan is struggling at the moment, Jaguar is struggling at the moment, you know, some of the big companies are struggling at the moment. Who here is going to purchase a car in the next month or two, unless the car collapses? You would be on. You haven't got one anyway, you're right.
Trying to sell one.
Yeah, there you go, trying to sell one. At the moment, it is a very, it's an emotional purchase. It's what we call an emotional purchase. You might need a car, you think you need a car, but you think, it's 10 grand, it's 20 grand, it's 30 grand, it's 40 grand, how much you spend on a car? I'll just hang on a month, I might hang on 2 months, just to be on the safe side, just until I buy it. Now, when you're buying something of that size, these car manufacturers are suddenly losing, they've got a big 3-month gap when others buying. They are going to buy, but the decision has been put back and put back and put back. And what they're looking at and trying to think at the moment is, how the hell do we get people to tip and to actually go and buy that car now as opposed to in 3 months' time? That's the issues they've got. And that's this recession boils down to two things: confidence and banks' ability to lend companies or people money. Absolute fact. I actually genuinely believe in the next 3 months, the government are putting pressure on them already. A lot gets said on telly, but what happens behind the scenes you'll never know about. They're putting a lot of pressure on the banks to start freeing up money. And in fairness, what the government's lending the cash to the banks at, they're reducing the interest rates on that. Because I can understand the bank's point of view. The government's lending a bank at 12%, then they want you to go and lend the bank to lend it to somebody at 4%. Hang on a minute, that doesn't make commercial sense. So there is a lot of to and fro going on at the moment. But you're right. The problem with the car industry, like you just said then, they're belting them out and they can't turn it off. And if they turn it off, what do you do? You know, and how long does it take to restart them? They've got to shift metal, as they call it. There's too many cars at the moment, which will be an issue going forward. Now then, it's quite interesting. The Jag and Nissan have said they want the government cash. Honda said they don't need it. Honda said they don't need it at the moment. We don't need government cash. We're doing fine at the moment. You look at like the Nissan's 50-year business plan. When it comes to a recession, they're like, and this is where recession is quite horrible, they will close that plant for 2 months. Now, it might cost them £1 million a day to close it down to mothball it, but it might be costing them £50 million a day to keep the damn thing running.